Hey, I'm Brendan Bailey, and I'm making my own video game, or at least I'm feebly attempting to make one. It's been like 9 or 10 months since I posted the first video devlog for this project, and I've been killing myself to post the second video. And I realized that the only way I'm gonna motivate myself to actually make video devlogs is to make it as easy as possible on myself. So I went out and purchased this beautiful desktop microphone and a brand new webcam so that I can just hit record, ramble about the game for 5 minutes, show some screenshots, and call it a day. So that's what we're gonna do. Just because I haven't posted videos doesn't mean I haven't been doing things, but this is a part-time project, and so I try to work on it in my spare time whenever I can. And some months I get more done than others, and I have quite a bit to show, but this time I think I'm just going to focus on the new levels and the level designs that I've been working on, and sort of the process for making levels, because that was kind of a major sore spot that I had, that I just didn't have any sort of mechanism to make areas for Nixie to run and jump around in. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to bring you through the different applications that I've learned over the past few months, and I hope you are able to pick up a thing or two and are inspired by whatever you see. And all right, so here we go. So one of the main issues I was having with motivating myself to actually open Unity and work on the game itself was the fact that I was kind of working in this very ugly, primitive 2D environment with no graphics, no world, which is probably the way to do it if you're just testing stuff out. But I really wanted to get to a point where I had some basic movements. We have running and jumping, there's double jumping, there's some shooting, we have a glide ability if you hold the jump button. So a couple different things. We have wall sliding, but only on certain walls. So like this blue wall you can actually slide on. So I wanted to kind of start showing off these different movements, but in an actual environment. And so that was a major sore spot. So I kept kind of just going back and working on just creative elements of the game, like new characters and music and just stuff that's fun to work on, but doesn't necessarily push the game forward. So when New Year's came along, I said I need to focus on something that's going to kind of solve that, and I need to create a process for actually making levels. Nixie is going to be a 2D Metroidvania style game, and I need a way to actually build worlds. And so what I discovered is that level design is kind of a creative challenge and a technical challenge. The creative challenge is actually designing the tile sets, creating the art for the levels, which is a lot of fun and has its own set of challenges. And then there's taking those tiles and actually building levels with them. And I quickly found some really, really fantastic applications for solving both of those things. The first application, if you know anything about the pixel art world, you've probably heard of, is called Sprite. And I've historically been a Photoshop user, and I have to say, switching from Photoshop over to Sprite was such a smooth transition that if you are a Photoshop user and you want to get into pixel art and you're using Photoshop for pixel art, which is fine, but you want an application that's a little bit more streamlined for doing specifically pixel art, just go out, spend the $20 and buy Sprite immediately. It's so good. I actually might make a video about transitioning from Photoshop to Sprite, because a lot of things are laid out similarly. And as far as making tile maps for environments, Sprite has some of the best tools for doing this. So I started out with an area that is going to be known as the Everlush Biodome. This is basically a hybrid area of kind of like earthy, organic plants and that kind of style merged with kind of like a laboratory tech look. And so here we go. This was really my first attempt at any environment art, like ever. I really, I before jumping into this, I went to a website called vgmaps.com or .org. I can't remember what it is. .net. It's one of those three. And I just sort of studied the art of old games. I was looking at a lot of 16-bit games on the Genesis and Super Nintendo, and I'm trying to hit kind of a vibe between those two. And I started pretty simple. I really just started with this area here. So like this grass kind of overhanging on these, kind of like this platform here. And just sort of built it out from there, designing different elements, some plants, different style platforms, ladders, and that kind of thing. But the beauty of using Aseprite is they have developed a really incredible system for making the tiles. So obviously you can come in here and paint with pixels, but you can then convert those pixel squares into tiles that you can then paint with. So I can actually grab any one of these tiles and just start painting with entire tiles that I've created. And you can create kind of elaborate shapes out of all these different tiles that you make. And what's cool is if you need to edit the tiles or you want to change the colors of the tiles, you can just edit a single tile and your whole canvas will update on that, for that tile. So it's a really cool, fun process. Again, sort of a creative challenge and a technical challenge, but this again might be another thing that I could do like a sub video on, because I'm really into it. Like it's just very fun and very satisfying to make tile sets and like see the environment kind of grow, and how quickly you can create a room like this, or like stuff like this. Once you have these building blocks, you can like kind of build these environments, and it's really fun. So Aseprite is great as far as designing environments, but it's not really a level designing application. It's strictly just for making the art that you would use in a level designing application. Now, Unity has tools that would let you lay out tile sets and make levels right in the editor. But after playing around with it, it's not super, I don't know what the word is, ergonomic. It's not the most user-friendly thing in the world. It works, but it's a little bit of a tedious process. So after some research, I found another application, which is called Level Design Toolkit. And this app is just absolutely awesome. And it's another just very satisfying piece of software to use. And so basically the first step in using this software is to take the artwork that you've made in Aseprite and kind of lay it out like this and make a tile set. So these are basically each individual tile that I've made in this environment, kind of just laid out on an individual level. And there are some pieces that are kind of jumbled in, and then there are other pieces that kind of live together. And basically you just sort of lay out all your elements like this, and then in Level Design Toolkit you can import them as basically a single image, and then build rules. You build these rule sets that let you basically come in and draw the tiles that you've made. Now, unlike Aseprite, where you are drawing with individual tiles, this will actually allow you to draw entire areas and have the rule sets that you've created automatically paint the right tiles in the right spot. So, if I come in here and draw a single line, I'll get the narrow version of that tile. If I expand it to say, 4 boxes wide, it'll automatically draw like the interior tiles, like how they should be. And pretty much everything you see on the screen, with the exception of like the background trees, is done this way. So like the ground elements and these girders, Any large decorative areas like this door, these are kind of just brought in as single sprites. But like this tower is all separate tiles. The ladders, the background areas of these, there's rule sets for all this stuff. So I can just kind of come in and be like, hey, I want to add like a girder over here. I can add my girders and just kind of draw wherever I want. And the same goes for even some of the decorations. So if I wanted to add, say, some grass to this, I have different rule sets where I can just take some ground grass and kind of just paint it right on these girders so it looks like there's a little growth on them. And boom, I mean, it's in. So the way Level Design Toolkit works is you can kind of create different rooms. So this is a pretty big room. And then you can add entities to your scene. So entities would be like an enemy or player start locations. And I'm still learning all the ins and outs of this app. I'm sure there's a ton of more stuff I need to actually add to this file. But this is like basically just the bare bones you would need to get like a level imported into Unity. So, and that's really the next step. So everything that you design here can then be imported into Unity using the Unity importer, which is a third app developed by a really, really talented guy named Cameron, who has been great in the Nixie Discord, like giving me help and tips and everything getting this to work. So basically, I've already imported my LDTK file, but I'll just show you how it works. I can literally just drag the entire LDTK file right into Unity, and there's a bunch of stuff you can do to kind of optimize the import and get it to do certain things, like adding collision layers. You can see that green line is where Nixie would collide with the wall, and that's kind of preset. You have to set that up in the importer, but it's pretty straightforward and simple to do. So one of the really cool parts about this, though, is that if I want to edit the level, I can very quickly just go into Level Design Toolkit, add some platforms. Let's just say we want to add a big old box right there. Save that. Hop back over into Unity, and the importer will detect that there's been a change, and it will re-import the level for me automatically. And last but not least, we can actually play this as long as you have collision tiles somewhere so that Nixie doesn't just fall infinitely. So eventually, you see this kind of split between the two levels here. The plan right now is to make each room in Level Design Toolkit its own scene in Unity. So at some point I got to get the layering figured out so that Nixie can walk behind this door, and then when he hits here it would trigger the next scene to load. But right now basically everything I do in LDTK just gets brought in as one giant area, which is kind of cool just to be able to run through everything. This area looks pretty cool, but it's a little too cramped. So now I can get into the nitty-gritty of kind of calibrating the space between areas and, getting Nixie's jump right, so like, you're not constantly getting caught and snagged on stuff. Also have to figure out, issues where it's like, he shouldn't be wall sliding there, but he is, because it's, basically any vertical wall that he comes in contact to, he's going to wall slide on right now. This room looks pretty fun, but it's kind of almost impossible to get around right now. And the ladders don't work yet either, but that's coming. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I'm gonna post another devlog soon about the more creative stuff I've been working on. So music, artwork, characters, just anything else that's kind of outside the realm of creating levels and programming in Unity. So hey, if you want to follow the project, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter or join the Nixie Discord. I'll put all the links in the description below. And yeah, I hope you follow along. I'll be posting some more videos soon, and I may also do a couple of tutorial videos, as I've gotten a couple of requests from some of the people in the Discord to get into that kind of thing, so I think it'll be fun. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.